Africa, our motherland. A land rich in culture, history, and abundant natural resources. A continent blessed with brilliant minds, unshakable resilience, and untapped potential. But despite all these gifts, Africa still struggles. We have every reason to rise, yet we remain behind. Why? Because the greatest war we fight is not against external forces, it is within us. It is a battle of the mind, of attitudes, of behaviors that have kept us in chains. 1. The slave chains were broken, but mental chains remain. For centuries, Africa suffered under the weight of colonialism. We fought for independence, and we won. But even though the physical chains were broken, the mental chains remained. Too many of us still think like captives, waiting for handouts, blaming others for our problems, and believing that progress is not in our hands. How many times have we heard people say, "That's how things are in Africa"? This dangerous acceptance of mediocrity has held us back. We normalize corruption, inefficiency, and poor leadership. Instead of demanding better, we adapt. Instead of building, we destroy. Instead of uniting, we divide. 2. Our own worst enemies, the culture of pulling each other down. There's an African proverb that says, "When there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm." But the sad reality is that we, ourselves, have become our own worst enemies. We see a fellow African rise, and instead of celebrating, we criticize. We drag them down with envy and sabotage. How many young entrepreneurs have brilliant ideas but receive no support because those in power refuse to uplift them? How many dreams have been crushed because of corruption, nepotism, and greed? We must ask ourselves, why do we fight against our own progress? Why do we choose competition over collaboration? The rest of the world builds together, but we, in Africa, often tear each other apart. 3. The love for foreign validation, the colonial mindset lives on. Too many Africans still believe that success must come from outside. We trust foreign products more than our own. We embrace Western ideals while ignoring our rich heritage. We seek validation from those who once oppressed us. When will we learn to value our own? When will we realize that Africa's future lies in Africans? Our ancestors built great civilizations without foreign help. Why can't we do it again? 4. The leadership crisis. When will we stop endorsing failure? Africa does not lack resources, it lacks responsible leadership. But here's the painful truth, we, the people, allow it. We vote for leaders based on tribe, not competence. We remain silent in the face of corruption. We praise the very people who steal from us. Until we demand better, we will continue to suffer. Until we stop selling our votes for money, rice, or empty promises, we will remain where we are. Change begins when we realize that leadership is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. 5. Excuses versus action. It's time to own our future. We can blame colonialism. We can blame bad governance. We can blame history. But at some point, we must ask, what are we doing about it? There are Africans proving that change is possible. There are young minds revolutionizing industries, artists telling African stories, and leaders working for real progress. If they can do it, why can't we all? Africa's transformation does not depend on governments alone, it depends on you. Every African must rise and take responsibility. Stop waiting. Start acting. Support African businesses. Demand accountability. Teach the next generation better values. Africa is not poor. Africa is rich, but its people have been mentally conditioned to believe otherwise. The day we change our mindset is the day we will see a new Africa. This is a call for a mental revolution. A call for Africans to wake up and break free from the habits, beliefs, and attitudes that have held us back. We are stronger together. We are powerful beyond measure. But only if we choose to rise. Africa's future is in our hands. What will you do?